asked, they answered. What if designing the budget this year was in the hands of industry stakeholders? What would be their topmost priority and what would they shelve? Experts from the area of exports, travel and hospitality, and micro, small, and medium enterprises give us the lowdown on how they plan to make it an all inclusive budget.
I think the pace of clearance at customs on ports, both for import and export, is very slow in compared to other countries. We need to expedite that. We need to have a process which is transparent, which is not subjective to an individual, and ratings of exporters, not just for export houses and star export houses, but for every exporter, for the MSME sector, which has no rating, which is 5 crores or less of export or 10 crores or less of export, and they're not rated, should also have a process where an honest exporter should go have a green channel, and unless you are checked or unless, so all these things are very, very critical, because for 1% or less than 1% of people who are dubious in their business or are trying to game the system, 99+% have to suffer, and I don't think that's fair. I think the government needs to streamline the customs for import and export. I think shipping lines should be forced to stock containers in India, should have enough containers. Our freight should be linked to the oil and gas prices. It should not be linked to demand and supply. And because we as exporters have 6 months orders, 9 months orders, we cannot plan on something that is not possible. So for a low-end manufacturer, where cost is the key and volumes are high, container loads are needed. So if for him or her, if the freight were to fluctuate, his or her their profit would just go, because he would need lots of volume of container. His materials are going by sea, and any fluctuation will make his business totally unviable. And an importing country does not change prices. Our prices are capped at foreign currencies. As it is, we are struggling to keep a margin for fluctuations on the foreign exchange rates. But this container and freight is a nightmare. It just adds to people not making enough money, and especially for the low end producers who are dealing in high volume, low profit products. So I think the government should control all of that. So lots of work has been done every year for duty drawback. And I think when you do a duty drawback and all these data that comes in on import duty that the government is receiving, to excise taxes that government was receiving back then, and the refund of the same before GST, that process should be followed. And that process should be followed, and it should be HS code wise, so that we don't have to compete. Similar code or similar products have a different set of products. So what the government and the process is great, but the time that it takes is not right. I think we should come out with it, and it can always keep on changing. We can always keep on improving. If a certain sector, a certain industry is not represented well or is not given what they deserve, we can change it. But holding back and then announcing it on the last day, in end of March, doesn't work. And then having to have simplified paperwork, it should be automatic. And filing to apply for license. Right now, import license based on exports for products that you have licensed is a cumbersome process. There should be a credit debit account, like how drawback is credited into my account. My license for X dollars should sit in my account as a credit, and I can transfer it. I don't understand, why is there a process of filing? Why are we adding work on the exporter, manufacturer, and to your people who are, as it is, So I think simplification to anything, in my opinion, including the budget, filing of returns, filing of depositing tax, getting refunds, is very critical.
I would in the budget announce a 2-year, 24-month deferral on principal repayments starting April of 2020, because I think a lot of those things have been deferred one way or the other. I would very definitely take the lead and take whatever steps are necessary at the level of my government and my parliament to declare tourism an industry. I would urge RBI and lending institutions, or RBI to guide lending institutions to say, here is an industry that's going to bring economy back to track. Let's give them 15-year loans rather than 10-year loans. Everybody benefits anyway. The banks benefit too. Perhaps we put in place an infrastructure where my getting approvals needs to happen through a single window or a single channel, rather than 20, 30, 40 different agencies that I need to go running around to just get my approvals and licenses for A, setting up a hotel, and then B, for operating a hotel. It's very cumbersome, it's very time consuming, it's very money consuming. Easier facility for foreigners to travel, and that's easier said than done. Obviously, we have to take care of COVID and take all the precautions. But let the approvals or the visa process for visitors once flights start off be as less cumbersome as is possible, or as smooth as is possible, and let those e-visas, etc., be reintroduced. Let NRIs fly in more freely. I think that's one thing that needs to be done to bring in the international traveler. On the domestic side, it's opening up more airports, improvement in road infrastructure across the country.
I would like to institutionalize a method where we have an ease of compliance, for which I would like to start a new portal, which would be a one portal, one compliance, once a month, whereby all compliances except for the GST returns would be filed on that one portal. So an MSME logs into that portal once a month, files all return, whether they are central government, whether they are state government, whether they are any department, anything, all single portal, one compliance, 1 month, so that they don't have to go to multiple people, they don't have to go to multiple agencies and try for the compliances. For Digital India, I would suggest that all charges that the banks levy for any payments that MSMEs take or make should be done away with. No charges for MSMEs for any kind of online banking transactions, whether it is related to online payments or receiving collectibles. Do away with all kinds of charges. The manufacturing MSMEs lack an ecosystem. Sadly, there are many departments who have tool rooms or who have different kind of initiatives, but an overall ecosystem is really not there. Today, if MSME wants a skilled powder coating person, he does not know where to go. So there is a lack of skilled people, there is a lack of knowledge. I don't know where to buy a machinery from, and or where to get a tool done from. This ecosystem, how many other departments are working on? There is no comprehensive ecosystem that is there. There are many ideas that have come up earlier, like clusters and ITIs which work and all, but still we don't have an ecosystem. I think a new method or a new scheme of ecosystem has to be made, whereby it would be easier for a manufacturing MSME to go to them, take suggestions, take some consultation on the machinery, on the tool, on the people. It has to be a one-stop ecosystem that really works. That is when we will really be able to compete with people like China, because even today you hear that if I want to get this product done, I would go to China and in a month this product would be ready. That does not happen in India.